feels good. Feels really good. So what I've got here is a jar of my starter that's been sitting for a week on the counter, and you can see that there's like a layer of this weird brown fluid. It's called hooch. It's actually supposed to be alcohol. It smells kind of ripe, but anyway, we're not going to use it. You can mix it in, but I'm just going to dump it down the drain. I take about 125 grams if I have that much. Maybe just 100 grams, that's enough. Take 100 grams of my all-purpose unbleached flour. Water. Some people say, oh, it's got to be distilled water, but no. Just put this in. We just mix it up. It's very kind of spongy like that. And my goal now is to just get all of this into the jar. So the little yeast molecules are in there, or the yeasty beasties, whatever they are. They've now got some food to eat. It's kind of like putting kindling into a fire. The yeast itself is like the kindling, and now we've given it some fresh wood, and it's just going to go like poof and start to grow. The volume has doubled, and this is sort of a very bubbly kind of a texture. So I think it's ready. 24 hours is a long time, but the yeast always comes through and does its job. Here is some water in a bowl. I'm just going to do a little float test. So if this little bit of mixture floats on top of the water, and it does, then that means that there's enough active yeast in there for it to make some bread. 1,000 grams of flour, 900 grams of water gives you a 90% hydration, which is going to be a really soft, pliable kind of a dough. It's going to be the basis for what we're doing. So I'm not going to put that much flour in. I'm going to go with about 800 grams of flour.
So like a 10 to 9?
Yeah, trying to keep the same ratio. You know what? It's not a perfect science, at least in my mind. It's not a perfect science. A 90% hydration. Okay, so I'm going to zero this up again. And I'm going to put 700 grams of water in here. Mix this up. It's not going to be very thick. Once this sits for a bit, it's going to be quite soft. I'm just going to leave it for now as flour and water. And I think the word in sourdough circles is this is the autolyse. It's all fancy terminology for let the flour and water just, and then like nothing else happens for another 45 minutes. It could be an hour, it could be 2 hours if I forget about it. Just want to make sure I cover it up so it doesn't all dry out on me. It's actually been 3 hours since we put this in the bowl here, and you can see what's going on. It's become like this really like rubbery, stretchy. I mean, so we're gonna try to get this out of the bowl in a minute, but first we're gonna add the salt. This is 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, about 200 grams in here. I'm just gonna use about half of it. No need to get all precise. Gives you a 90% hydration, and it will start to feed on the flour that's in there. Put some water down on the table just so that it doesn't stick. I mean, if it was wood, it would be even worse because then it would stick to the table. Okay. So here we go. All I want to do is just mix this a little bit. This is crazy. You can have fun with this by hand. You can see how it's actually like rubber. It's amazing. I got this tool that I bought. You can buy them for a lot more in the food supply house, but I bought this one at Home Depot. Just have fun with it. Okay, so I'm gonna pick this up in one big bunch and put it into this glass dish here. For about an hour, and the yeast is going to start to activate, and slowly over the next well, 12 hours, this is going to continue to expand with the natural yeast in there. It's actually been 6 hours since we put that dough into this pan here. You can see there's a bubble there. Okay, a couple of bubbles. The dough is still active. Grab it like this, lift it up, see how rubbery it is? And then you do the same thing. Just get it lifted up. There's different ways other people do it. They like to take it out and flip it over and fold it and fancy things. Because the dough is so loose, it's quite wet, I'm just keeping it in the dish here. I'm gonna let that go for another hour or so, and then it'll be ready to split. Getting close to the end. I'm gonna take my handy dandy pastry knife and just get this separated into 2 pieces. There we go. Okay, put that there. So the idea is to give it one last treatment where you you stretch it around itself, and this sort of creates tension within the dough. The last part is to get these bundled up one more time and into the baskets. Now this, I'm going to put some flour out here. When these get covered in flour on the outside, it sort of helps make the crust on the bread. So I'm going to pick this up, put it upside down like that. Okay, and we just want to, for this last time, fold this in on itself. It really does feel soft, almost like silk. It's amazing. Okay, and then this is going to go here and then upside down. Okay. Now these 2 bannetons are going to go into the fridge overnight. So we'll see you in the morning. Nice. Just going to brush off some of the flour here. In my house, it gets eaten so fast, there's no point in decorating it. And I'm just going to put a nice cut across the top of this that goes down about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, 3/8 of an inch. And if there's pressure once it starts to pop, then this will relieve the pressure and it won't burst out the sides like that. There we go. Look at that. Oh, it popped incredibly. Check it out. Okay, so this is it. So we're gonna let that cool for about 1/2 hour or so, and then we'll slice into it. Okay, so it's been about an hour actually since we took it out of the oven. And I want you to zoom in on this because it's actually quite remarkable. And then, you'd have to crash your spaceship in there and just decide where you're going to land. Oh, it feels good. It feels really good. There it is. Oh, baby. That is amazing. Nice. I can't wait to sink my teeth into that. Okay, so we'll save it like that and we'll cut ourselves a couple slices and we'll get into it. There it is, sourdough bread. It only took 3 days, but hey.